warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azzihan Nurfarahin binti Bahrudin. As the first presenter, our presenter segmental reporting consists of company background and management approach. Segment reporting. Segment reporting is information in a business enterprise financial segment that constitute an important input to financial statement analysis, which is generally made investment and lending decisions. The company that we choose is Petroleum National Berhad, which also be known as Petronas Berhad. Petronas Berhad is a Malaysian oil and gas that was established in 1974. Petronas Berhad is fully owned by Malaysian government. This corporation is vested the entire oil and gas resources in Malaysia and entrusted with the responsibility to adding the value and develop these resources. Though subsidiary and joint venture, Petronas Berhad is deeply involved in almost all aspects of the oil and gas industry across the range of upstream, exploring and extracting the oil and gas to downstream to refining and distributing the products. And the most exciting part is Petronas Berhad has transformed from a domestic-based national oil and gas into fully integrated multinational corporation, and as the corporation has experienced significant milestones. And as we can see, Petronas Berhad is really committed in managing our petroleum resources for our benefit. There are two factors that need to be considered to having a segmental reporting. First, nature of the product, and the second one is nature of the production process. For the first factor is nature of the product or service is referring to what type of the product or service that the company is offering. For example, the Petronas, they offer different of product and service which are upstream, downstream, and gas and new energy and corporate and others. For the second one is nature of the production process is referring to how actually the process is made. For example, for the upstream is one of the Petronas reportable segment is involved in finding and producing crude oil and natural gas. For type of segment, we also have two types of segment, which is business segment and geographical segment. The first one is business segment. Business segment is providing an individual product or service of related product or service, and that is subject risk and return that are different from those of other business segment. And for the second one is geographical segment, is providing an individual product or service within a particular economic environment, and that is subject to risk and return that are different from those of other economic environment. For chief of decision making, or also be known as CODM, is responsible to assess the performance of the various segments and decide an allocation of the resources to the segment. For Petronas, the CODM is Petronas Executive Leadership Team, which is also be known as ELT, will review the internal management report at least on a quarterly basis. Segment PAT as a basis of the Petronas to measure the performance, because Petronas ELT believes this information is most relevant in evaluating the result of the segment.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Syawani binti Ibrahim, and I will present the segmental report and the advantages of segment reporting. First is reproduce a segmental report. To reproduce segmental report for Petronas, there must be at least 4 reportable and 1 minimum of non-reportable segment. Here we have 5 reportable segments, which are upstream, gas and new energy, downstream, midstream, corporate, and others to be classified into reportable and non-reportable segment. We need to use 10% threshold test to see if it is reportable or non-reportable. It is reportable when the total of both external and internal are more than 10% of combined revenue of all operating segments. For Petronas, we use revenue method for 10% threshold test, which consists external and internal to disclose information about each segment. For example of 10% threshold test for reportable statement of upstream segment, we need to add both internal and external to get the total revenue, and the amount of the total revenue need to be divided by the combined revenue of all segments. While for the 75% of total revenue requirement, we need to total up the external revenue for reportable segment divided by the total external revenue of the company. As I mentioned before, their combined sales constitute 94.74% of the total external sales, which exceeds 75% total revenue requirement. In Petronas, based on 10% threshold for profit and loss, only 4 segments, which are upstream, gas and new energy, downstream, and midstream, are reportable, and 1 non-reportable segment, which is corporate and others. The operating segments that do not meet 10% threshold requirement and are not classified as reportable segment is to be combined and disclosed under all other category. The external revenue of reportable segment is 94.74%, which is more than 75% of total external revenue of entity. Therefore, corporate and others is the only one which is under non-reportable segment. Next is the advantages of segmental reporting. There are 2 advantages of segmental reporting, which are allocation of resources, investment, and credit decision. For allocation of resources, it helps in improving the allocation of scarce resources in economy if the information are disclosed to parties outside the enterprise. It also removes imperfection in the investment market and causes the market to function properly. Second is investment and credit decision. It enables the financial statement users to better analyze the uncertainties surrounding the timing and amount of expected cash flow.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Nadhira binti Ahmad Nizman. I'm as the third presenter. I will present about, firstly is the advantages of segment reporting. Secondly is the basis of preparation interim report. Next is accounting policies used in preparing in the interim report. Lastly is type of interim report. There are 3 disadvantages of segment reporting, which are base of segmentation, allocation of common costs, and pricing inter-segment transaction. Firstly is base of segmentation. How a diversified company would be fractionalized for reporting purposes is a problem in segment reporting. A diversified company may be divided for segment reporting purposes in terms of organization division, industry, market, customer, product, and many more. Allocation of common costs. In a business enterprise producing more than one product or engaged in a different activities, there are likely to be costs which are common to 2 or more of the products. For example, of common costs are general administrative and selling expenses, legal expenses, general advertising, and many more, because these costs are common to more than one segment. They cannot be associated in entirety with a single segment. An interim report can be prepared monthly or quarterly when it is required to evaluate a company's financial performance and position at any given time. Next is basis preparation of interim report Petronas. In Petronas, in the interim financial report is reported on the periodic basis under discrete method according to FAR570. The condensed consolidated financial statement are unaudited and have been prepared in accordance with FAR570 in interim financial reporting. They should be read in conjunction with the group's audited consolidated financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2019. The explanatory notes attached to this condensed consolidated financial statement provide an explanation of events and transactions that are significant to an understanding of the changes in the financial position and performance for the group since the year of 31st December 2019. There are two accounting policies used by Petronas in preparing their interim report, which are: first is valuation of fixed asset and depreciation policies. Number one is valuation of fixed asset. The group had used valuation method to value their fixed asset. They often apply level 1 and level 2 fair value hierarchy as their references. For level 1 is a quoted price in active markets for identical asset or liabilities. For level 2, input other than quoted prices included within level 1 they are observable for the asset or liability are either directly or indirectly. The Petronas Group recognizes transfer between the level of fair value hierarchy as of the date of the event or change in circumstances that causes the transfers. Secondly is depreciation policies. The depreciation for property, plant and equipment other than freehold land and projects in progress is recognized in profit or loss or on a straight line basis over the estimated useful life of each component. These are estimated useful life for their fixed assets. Lastly is type of interim report. Petroleum National Bahrudin Petronas choose to apply condensed set of financial statement in preparing their interim financial report rather than complete set of financial statement. In the report, accordance to FAR570 prescribes that set of condensed financial statement consists of minimum content for the current period and comparative prior period information such as statement of financial position, statement of comprehensive income, statement of cash flows, statement of changes in equity, and selected explanatory notes as required by FAR570.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Najwa Izzati binti Zainuddin. I'm as a last presenter for our presentation. So I will be explain about period for the current and comparative statement, and I will close with adjustment and extract of financial statement. Is the period for the current and comparative financial statement prepared by the Petronas Bahrudin. The company published quarterly interim financial statement as at 30 September 2020. For the statement profit or loss and other comprehensive income and expenses as at for the current interim report 3 months ending July until September, the current interim report as at 1st July 2020 until 13th September 2020. For the comparative years as at 1st July 2019 until 30th September 2019. For the cumulative period 9 months ending January to September, the current interim report as at 1st January 2020 until 30 September 2020. For the comparative year 1st January 2019 until 30 September 2019. For the financial position, as at current interim report, 1st January 2020 until 30 September 2020. For the comparative year, as at 1st January 2019 until September 2019. For segment cash flow, as at current interim report, 1st January 2020 until 30 September 2020. For the comparative year, 1st January 2019 until 30 September 2019. For the statement changes in equity, the current interim report as at 1st January 2020 until September 2020. For the comparative year, 1st January 2019 until 30 September 2019. Presentation. I will explain about adjustment and extract on the financial statement. So we have prepared two questions which are adjustment on acquisition of investment property and equity, and secondly we prepared adjustment on purchasing of PPE and exchange rate. Petronas Bahrudin acquired 5-floor building for 30 million and incurred legal costs amounted 1 million on 10 July 2020. The acquisition was financed by issuing 14 million new ordinary shares. 4 of the floor are rented out, market rental of 5,000 per month, and 1 floor is used by the Petronas Bahrudin. The fair value of the building as at 13 September 2020 was 18 million. The company has adopted the fair value model for the building, which is as investment property. For adjustment, for the statement profit or loss, the other income was 2633 million. At statement of financial position, the investment property and land held for the development under non-current asset was 13,628 million. Cash and equivalents under current asset was 141,433 million. Share capital under equity was 100 million. The statement of changes in equity balance was as at 1st January 2020, the share capital was 100 million, while the total equity was 438915 million. Balance as at 30 September 2020, the share capital was 100 million, while the total equity was 385,599 million. After adjustment, for the statement profit or loss, the other income is 263,7.015 million. At statement of the financial positions, the investment property and land held for development under non-current asset is 13646 million. Cash and equivalents under current asset was 141,433.015 million. Share capital under equity is 114 million. Changes in equity balance as at 1st January 2020, the share capital is 100 million. There are issuance of ordinary share of 40 million, while total equity is 438,915 million. So balance as at 30 September 2020, the share capital is 114 million, while the total equity was 385,613 million. Second adjustment. On the 1st January 2020, the company purchased the equipment with a useful life of 10 years from of its supplier in Thailand at an invoice price of 100 million. But on the 1st September 2020, the company paid 95 million baht as a part of settlement. The exchange are provided as follows. 1st January, 1 ringgit equal to 10 baht. 1st September 2020, 1 ringgit equal to 9.5 baht. 30 September 2020, 1 ringgit equal to 10.5 baht. Before adjustment, for the statement profit or loss, the other income was 2,633 million. For the administrative expenses was 5,669 million. For the statement 170.25 millions. For the statement of the financial positions, the property, plant and equipment under non-current asset is 2955.08 million. Cash and the equivalent under current assets is 141.423 millions. The other